going to call each, and I'm going to pack everything I have in the car, and we're just going to pick from that when we get here. But you look good. You look good, for you.
Forgot the tie.
Yeah,
which I think upsets you a little bit.
But I've got one here that's nice enough for both of us. So.
Of course, the question everybody wants to know is the quarterback situation. And have you made up your mind yet, Dilfer, Erickson?
Yeah, well, we've made up our mind. But the main thing that you don't want to do in a situation like this is to appear that you don't really know what you're going to do. And so the best bet is not to declare anything until you really have to do it, because you might have a change of heart. You might get out there and for one reason or another, decide that maybe the other decision was the way to go. What we've done, though, is we've prepared 2 quarterbacks. All week long this past week, we had almost all teamwork. And I would stand on the sideline with the sideline microphone, and I would call in just like we were rehearsing a game. And each quarterback, Craig Erickson and Trent Dilfer, Casey not getting as much work, but those 2 quarterbacks got the equivalent of what the normal number of snaps would be for the starting quarterback. So neither guy's been cut short. They're both ready to go. And basically what we're saying is we're going out there to win the game, not to break in a new quarterback or to continue with the guy that we've got and have the other guy ready to come in. We're going out there to win the game. And whichever guy starts, he'll be supported by everybody else. If whoever's in that ball game is not playing well, doesn't have a hot hand, the other guy's going to be ready to go.
So you may decide during the coin flip?
No, we've already decided. We know what it is, but we just, we're going to, and the players know who it is, but we're just going to make that the last thing that we do, just in case there is any reason for us to reverse that decision. We don't care to have to make an excuse for it. We just say this is the way we're going. We've thought this all the way through.
Okay, what about Hardy? He's practiced with the ankle. How's he feeling?
Hardy had a good week of practice. He didn't practice 100% on it by design. We didn't want him to go out there and just hammer it away at it and then have it come up sore on Sunday. But he tested it. It's going to be fine. Going to be tender on Monday. We're sure of that after this game. But he's the kind of a guy that wasn't going to wait another week. So we got him ready, and he's ready to go.
Okay, there's some other injuries you're dealing with as you go to San Francisco, and here's a rundown on that list.
Well, the main one there is Tim Irwin. Tim has been slow to recover from a back problem, and then this week he had an infection in another week or 2. Vernon Turner, very questionable as to whether he'll be able to play. Thomas Everett will play, but he won't play 100%. Ian Beckles, same thing. He'll play, but not 100%. And Carl Wilson, a lot of motivation to go out there. He'll play, but less than 100%.
Yeah, he told me on Wednesday he would like to prove to the 49ers that they made a mistake in letting him go.
Yeah, well, and that's the way it should be. And I think they certainly let a good player go. I don't know whether they think it's a mistake because there's somebody else out there taking that spot. But we're happy to have Carl on our football team, that's for sure. And that's what this free agency has done, and what the cap has done is there's been a sifting of players, and the good players, those still find a home.
What about Santana with the hand? You mentioned last week that you were thinking about putting a smaller cast on his hand.
Well, we will. The cast last week was or 2 weeks ago, was very cumbersome, but this one is just something that will cover the back of his hand. It cups around the front of his hand so that he's got protection. The x-rays show that the bone is healing nicely, and this will be fine. So it'll be much easier. Plus, he can bend his wrist. But the last against Atlanta, he couldn't even move his wrist. Really, probably was not the guy we should have had up, but he wanted to play. We needed him, and it turned out that he wasn't able to play as effectively as we needed.
Okay, Bucks getting ready to head to San Francisco to face the 49ers. We'll talk about that game and the Buccaneer offense and defense and a lot more when we come right back.
The thoughts about football and from the fundamentals of it. So we practiced early in the morning. We come in at 9. We'd be out of there by noon, which is about half of a normal day. Normally they come in at 9, 8:30 or 9, and they're out of there 5:30, 6:30 sometimes. And so they got a little bit of a break there. We put a lot of the game plan in without finalizing it last week, and then this week, of course, we had a normal routine putting the game plan in. So we're ready to go.
Is it, I don't know, was it kind of strange to suddenly have 2 weeks to prepare for a game?
Oh, well, I tell you what was strange was this week. You know, last week you were saying, okay, we don't play Sunday. But this week we play Sunday, but there was, as coaches, you're used to long hours. Now, we don't go home until late, especially Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights. And there we were it's Monday night. We're supposed to be working till 11, 12 o'clock at night, and we're all done. We have everything pretty well done. And so that was the strange part. But I think the players are anxious now. I do have a good feeling about this one. Sometimes you go into a game and you've got your guard up. Other times you're saying, hey, let's let this one fly and find out how good we are.
with the week off and that extra time, can you? I mean, do you see enough of the 49ers, or is there a point where maybe you've seen all you can see? Or?
Oh yeah, we've seen all we can see. You know, I think really in this league right here now, physically you couldn't put your players through this, but in terms of preparation for a game, you could play 2 games a week. You would just be more efficient with your time. Your game plan might not be quite as expanded, and probably make fewer mistakes if you really got down to it. So there's something to be said for not having too much time on your hands.
Okay, we talked earlier about the quarterback situation. Or I and all of you don't know if it's going to be Craig Erickson or Trent Dilfer, but as we do every week, we take a look at the stats, and we'll start this week with Mr. Erickson.
Well, Craig, both of these guys now are good players, and we've got both of them ready to play like starters. It doesn't matter who's in the ball game, but as you can see, Craig's rating is an 88.2. I think that puts him in the top 7 or 8 quarterbacks in the National Football League. So there's nothing wrong there, and he's got a lot of yards, and he's got the experience of the first 6 ball games, the majority of it. The thing that Craig has got to do is he does, and believe me, he's the consummate pro. He understands we've got a #1 draft pick here in Trent Dilfer, and at some point we're going to take a look at him. If it's this week, it's this week. If it's later on down the road, then it's going to be then. But we don't want to come out of this season after it's all over with and not know and not have given Trent some time and not know exactly what his potential might be. Craig, I think, is absolutely happy here and wants to be here for a long time, but his contract does come up, and all of those things are real practical matters we have to at least consider. Trent Dilfer, on the other hand, out of Fresno State, a #1 pick. Everybody thought was a good pick. I mean, this is not one that came out of left field. As you can see, the numbers there aren't very many of them, and they aren't what they're going to be. Those 3 interceptions are kind of sticking out like a sore thumb. This is a guy that had a consecutive string of passes without interceptions that was, I think, going into that Atlanta game, led the nation in terms of, if you took college and pro quarterbacks and combined them, he was the leading quarterback in terms of consecutive passes without an interception. So he's not prone to it. Had a rough day. Part of it's the learning experience. We all go through it with him, of course. But as you can see, he's got great delivery. He can get the ball deep down the field. It doesn't take him long to wind up and throw it. The nice part about this whole situation is that Craig Erickson supports Trent Dilfer and Casey Weldon, and Trent and Casey support Craig. There's no jealousy here. There's rivalry in terms of competitiveness, and that's it.
You know, on Wednesday, Dilfer said a couple things. One, he said, you know, you guys are always talking about this #1 situation, and he said, yeah, I mean, that, you know, we really don't have time to think about that. He says, you prepare. If you start, you start. If you don't, you have to be ready to play.
Right. Well, that's the way you have to do it, although there's no question about it. If you know you're going to be the starter, there is a little edge there that maybe you don't have if you think you're not going to be the starter. So I don't think it's good for a player not knowing. And we've tried to make sure that these players understand that they both have to prepare like starters. They had 2 weeks, different situation this time around, and that they had to be ready to go. And of course, then, you know, as the week did down, the indication was clearer to them as to which way we were leaning, but we didn't want to finalize anything until we had to, and that'll be, I guess, for the public, it'll be tomorrow.
Okay. Jackie Harris, your tight end, your leading receiver, has your game plan with Jackie. Is it each week, has it been pretty much how you expected to use him in your offense?
Well, yeah. I mean, our offense features, meaning the Buccaneer offense, features the tight end a great deal. Now, sometimes a team will come in and say, take that tight end away because he can eat you alive. And early in the season, that's what we saw. It opened up other throwing lanes for people outside into the running backs. But Jackie is going to be a factor every time we hit the football field. Teams are going to have to account for him. You can see his numbers are good. He is, you know, as the season goes on, I think you're just going to see more and more in terms of pure passes to him. You're going to see more and more thrown. Here in the Atlanta game, really good tight coverage. Jackie just goes up and makes the steal catch and comes away with a touchdown. He's the kind of a player that the quarterbacks are going to have a lot of confidence in. The more and more they throw to him, the more they read his pattern development, the more they're going to realize that they can let it fly, and he's going to come down with it.
One more shot at Jackie Harris, but I wanted to ask you a little bit about Lawrence Dawson. You said earlier this week that he's pretty much ready and you won't limit what he does.
Yeah, I don't think LD is... there's always going to be a little bit of a mental hurdle initially, but I think he's ready to go, and has been ready to go for several weeks. The knee is sound. He's been running hard. He's actually a little bit faster than he was prior to the injury. And as you can see here in some footage from a year ago, I guess this is, This guy is a great runner after the catch. He just doesn't go down, and it's a big plus. I tell the team, really the offensive team, that the passing game is made up of not only the yards that the ball is in flight, but the yards that are gained after the catch. And that's really a run or a rush after the catch. And really it's about 50-50. If you added up all of the total yardage and you broke it down by how many of those yards took place with the ball en route and how many after the catch and the run, it's about 50% is the run after the catch. And a guy like Dawsey really adds to that.
At practice this week, I believe you said that you guys were going to give Dawsey some contact. Was that, I mean, like hits up here, or was he being tackled?
No, just job contacts for the off season is what I meant by that. So, yeah. No, it was, no, he has, it's the normal contact that you get during the practice routine. Yeah, well, I didn't know I was going to say it. I'm actually sorry I did. So, but the practice is going to involve contact. That's what we meant by we weren't going to go out of our way to pop him one. We were just going to make sure that he was in the middle of it just like everybody else, and he was going to get some contact. He handled it fine.
Hardy Nickerson said an interesting thing on Wednesday. I asked him, you know, having watched the defense play without you, and obviously you're there when you're with them on the field, but what's the difference? And he said, well, the 49ers won't see the 16th ranked defense. They'll see the 6th ranked defense when he's out there.
Well, and, you know, those are facts. We were ranked number 6 when he got hurt, and we haven't had quite that much success. Now, we played good offenses, and those teams have done well. But at the same time, when you bring him back into it, our defense is going to get better. There's no question about it. He's a Pro Bowl football player.
When you see a guy like Hardy Nickerson and players in general, and you're looking at players and they have that confidence in their abilities and the work ethic. As you interview players, I mean, is this something that you find starts, you know, when a guy's a kid, or does it come through high school?
Well, I think it builds all the way along, but generally, if you grow up in a home that has discipline, you've got rules, and you are accountable to those rules. If you break the rules, you know you're going to have to pay for it. You go to school, and that's the way you act in school, and then your coach picks up on that, and he magnifies those disciplines that you've got, tries to have other players model themselves after you. And guys like Hardy and most of our football team, in fact, all of our football team, I wouldn't exclude anybody from that group, are built with guys that have those characteristics.
What about getting physical? And we saw near the end of last season, the games with the Raiders, the Denver Broncos, you guys are a real physical team, and I guess I don't see as much of that this year. Is that something that you're going to hope to?
I think you saw it in the preseason. You know, I think we had it in the preseason. Somewhere along the way, you're right, it slipped away from us. It doesn't just go away altogether, but it slips away. It's something we have really harped on. They're tired of hearing me say it. For the last 2 weeks, I have ground it into them that this is going to be one physical, mean, rough, tough football game. And when we walk off that football field, we're going to be exhausted. We're going to be sore, but so are the 49ers. And then we'll look up and see what that scoreboard says.
Okay, Sam's going to pull out the clicker and take a look at some of the plays from the first 6 games of the season. So we'll do that when we return. Stay with us.
Good sign right there. Remember it, 17-0 to 17-14 in just a matter of seconds.
Through the first 6 games of the season, we have some plays we're going to take a look at now. Sam has the clicker, and it's your turn.
Okay. Well, we'll take a look at them. And of course, there are a lot of them, but just to kind of recap a few of them. The first play right here was Craig Erickson at quarterback, and as you can see, the Indianapolis Colts are sneaking up there. They're going to blitz, and these 2 linebackers right here are coming up what we call a double barrel. They're going to come right up the chute, and then the outside guys will charge outside, causing some pretty good protection problems unless you're ready for it. We were ready at this particular time. You can see that Ian Beckles, our center, turns and blocks to the left, and our running back comes up and actually picks up a defensive lineman to clean it up, giving Craig Erickson time to find CW, Charles Wilson, right down the middle, and he makes that one good move at the end. And big play right there. I think that was a 3rd down call as well. Here's another one. This is Trent Dilfer, one of the potential starting quarterbacks,
yes,
actually, in the ball game here. And I think he's going to Lamar Thomas. Watch at the end of this play right here. Now, something kind of nifty that I didn't notice, but this is called a square out, or just an out pattern. The wide receiver is going to go up the field, just straight up the field, and at 12 yards, he breaks exactly 90 degrees, parallel to the line of scrimmage to his outside, a timed throw. I'm going to slow it down here. Now, watch when the quarterback releases the ball. He lets it go right about now. The receiver, as you can see, hasn't really come out of his break. He's not even looking at it yet. That is perfect timing. And then the ball, of course, arrives right on the money. And we get the first down. And then right here at the end, I don't know what he's doing, but he sure got he got the cheerleaders' attention right there. Maybe that's what he was doing. Let's see, I believe we got another shot. This one is Craig Erickson and another one against the Indianapolis Colts. They had been jumping all over. This safety had been jumping all over the hook pattern. We've been coming down with our tight end, Jackie Harrison, running the hook. This time he runs the hook and go. And as you can see, we fooled the safety. Good throw by Craig Erickson. Just lay it out there. Make sure it's an easy catch. Good speed by our tight end and a touchdown that makes it look easy. It wasn't quite that easy to begin with. Here's Craig again. This is called spread formation. Spread to us is when we have 4 wide receivers, and we just number them. This is the receiver down at the bottom is number 1, and then as you read it left to right from the offensive stand, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, and the quarterback just talks to them as if they are just numbers. Number 1 does this, 2, and 3. Quarterback sets up. Ball is thrown right in here, and the interesting part here, this is against the New York Giants. The number 4 catching this one wearing number 80, and we're glad to have him back, Lawrence Dawsey. Not only that, but that enthusiasm right there that comes after a big catch. This is a big play for us in the Colt game right here. Hardy Nickerson, a big part of it, making that hit, driving it back. It was 3rd down and 4. If we hold him right there, we win the ball game, and as you can tell, he did not make it, not with that crowd around him.
Okay, the San Francisco 49ers, of course, coming up tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk about the 49ers and a little bit more. We'll do that after we take a timeout.
Scrambling quarterbacks have always wreaked havoc on opposing defenses. Sometimes tackling them can be just as hard as containing them. In the 1960s, Fran Tarkenton's scrambling not only confused defenses, he had the officials somewhat perplexed. So, in 1965, the league added a 6th official, the line judge, to better cover the whole field.
Thank you for making us part of your Saturday night. Hope all is well. San Francisco 49ers will start with their offense and their quarterback.
Great quarterback, Steve Young, was here, as was everybody, I think. Came through Tampa one time. But Steve Young's a great player and a great guy. He's a good person on and off the field for the 49ers and representing the National Football League. He's a left-handed quarterback, got great mobility, very fast. This is not a guy that's mobile within the pocket. He's mobile in and out of the pocket. And as you can see, he's very decisive with his throwing. He's got the offense well under his belt, and he knows where people are going to be. And once he sees somebody, he goes to them. Ricky Waters, the running back, of course, out of Notre Dame. William Floyd, a local Florida product right here. John Taylor, Jerry Rice, and Brent Jones. All 3 of those guys have been around, it seemed like forever. Brent Jones, West Coast kid out there that they throw the ball to. Brent was actually listed as questionable for the game up until about Friday, when they put him back into the lineup. But as you can see, Waters can do a lot of things. He's
jump pretty well, too.
He can jump, he can catch, and he can wear those old 1955 uniforms. But Steve Young, as you watch him, watch the head movement, he swivels, he knows where people should be if they take it away. And part of being a good quarterback is not only knowing your offense, it's understanding the defense. And if you know what the defense is doing, you can move to their weakness, because every defense is, compensating for something in an extra way, and they're giving up something somewhere else. Jerry Rice, maybe the greatest of all time. I mean, there have been a lot of great ones, and I guess we could debate who's the greatest, and it doesn't really matter. Here's one of the great ones. And not only is he a great one because he's produced, he's a great one because he works so hard at it. This is a guy that is the consummate work ethic football player. As you can see, he's smart, too. That ball, that play right there could have gone out of bounds on the 1-yard line. Defensively, Dana Stubblefield, a high draft pick, Ricky Jackson, a trade or acquisition, and Ken Norton acquisition in the offseason are big additions to them. Eric Davis, we played against him last year. He's kind of got a lot of pressure with Deion Sanders on the other side, but it could be Toy Cook playing place of Deion Sanders. That one's a little bit up in the air with Tim McDonald and Merton Hanks. Merton Hanks has played the corner and the free safety for them. Right now he's playing free safety because of Deion. Pass rush can be pretty good, and that's Dana Stubblefield right there coming in. Brian Young, the kid they drafted #1 this year from Notre Dame, is another good football player. Looks like he's going to recover this fumble right here after Dana gets in to make the hit. But this is a team that's going to be aggressive. They're going to come at us from everywhere, and once they get a hit, because they're coming, they're a pursuit-type defense. A guy like Tim McDonald will pick the ball up, as he did against Atlanta here, and go all the way down the field. You saw Ricky Jackson right there at the end of it doing the old back block, making sure he gets all the way down. But here Atlanta on defense, as you see, is playing not only smart football, but they're step-for-step football. Atlanta has tremendously fast receivers, and the 49ers were with them the entire day. I think they intimidated the Atlanta Falcons. They found themselves in the right place at the right time, and Hanks there making the interception. Deion, I don't know what you say about him that could be enough. This is a superlative. I think he's the best athlete in the game today, maybe one of the best or the best ever to play it. And as you can see, he's got a little bit of a temper there. And I said earlier, and I think everybody that has watched this and had the guts to say it has commented that there's probably not another player in the league that would have survived the game with that. Every other player would have been thrown out. Sometimes those big timers get it. And here's where he pulled a muscle right there, he said. But he makes a great turn on it, and right here he wants to discuss, future investment possibilities with his former teammates. And then that long stride, and then the Deion shuffle or whatever it's called. But he's an exciting player. You know, sometimes you want to say, hey, he can't do that. Well, he can, by golly. You can back it up, too.
Okay, against we want to move a step ahead against the Minnesota Vikings, an important day, cash and carry food day, and we'd like all you fans to help us out.
Well, it is a big day, and the cash and carry people have done an awful lot of work on this. Not only do you have just the game to bring the food goods in, but you can take them to cash and carry as well.
Okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you right here next Saturday night at 10:30. See you then.
Fox Sports presents the National Football League. From Candlestick Park, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the San Francisco 49ers. The 100th consecutive sellout crowd on hand here at Candlestick. 71 degrees at game time for the 5-2 49ers and the 2-4 Buccaneers. Good afternoon, everybody. Kenny Albert along with former Green Bay Packer and Buffalo Bill Ron Pitts. The San Francisco 49ers coming off a 42-3 thrashing of the Atlanta Falcons last week. They are in first place in the NFC West. And the center of attention this week here in San Francisco, Ron, is Deion Sanders.
Yeah, but the center of attention hasn't focused on Deion's performance. Rather, it's focused on Deion's health. Here's the play last week against Atlanta where he hurt that growing muscle in the interception return. He did it on the break, Kenny. And a lot of people are saying, well, maybe they won't play him. Maybe they shouldn't. They should save him. Well, I talked to Deion. He said, let me tell you something, Ron. I'm playing. And the reason I'm playing is because this defense is just starting to come together and gel. I want to contribute. I want to come here and win Super Bowls. I got to get in the game. I got to play.
And not only did Deion Sanders contribute, but the entire 49ers defense, they forced 6 Falcons turnovers. And that could be a cause for concern today with rookie Trent Dilfer making his first NFL start for the Bucs.
Well, you know, it's not that Craig Erickson has played so bad. He's only thrown 1 interception in the first, since the first game. But Weiss sat down with everybody, all the quarterbacks, and he said, listen, guys, Trent Dilfer, he is the draft pick. He's the guy that's going to play sooner or later. And I think today is what he was talking about. You know, he's from nearby Aptos, California. He's got 250 people here to watch him play. He wants to have a big one, and the Bucs want him to have a big one, too.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won the toss. They will receive. Buccaneers averaging only 17.5 yards per kick return. And they are without Vernon Turner due to injury. That is number 28, Curtis Buckley, who is back deep for the Buccaneers, along with number 84, Charles Wilson. Doug O'Brien kicks off, and we are underway here in San Francisco as Buckley had some trouble with it. Curtis Buckley all the way up to the 40, and he is finally taken down near midfield. Curtis Buckley Returning the opening kickoff 36 yards. Trent Dilfer leads the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out. And Ron, both quarterbacks are in the game right now. Trent Dilfer and Craig Erickson. As we take a look one more time at the 36-yard return. Trick play here on the first play from scrimmage. Craig Erickson is lined up at wide receiver. This is Vince Workman.
Yeah, you know, Sam talked to us about that, and Seifert talked to us about that. The trick plays, watching the trick plays from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Sam Weiss. I mean, there it is right off the bat. Erickson lines up as a wide receiver, and it kind of puts a thought in the defense's mind. Well, you got a guy that can throw it. And look at the multiple formation. This is another thing that the 49ers are going to have to try to deal with to slow these guys down early.
A loss of 4 on first down. This is 2nd and 14. Movement on the line and penalty flags on 2nd down. Our referee here today is Howard Rowe.
Prior to the snap, we got a false start on number 62 offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Ian Beckles, number 62, right there. He just jumps just a little bit, and that's enough to get it called. You know, that's part of the new rules this year, Kenny. If a defensive man jumps over another side and he's right across from, they're going to call that one on the defense, but that he just moved without anybody touching him that time.
Dilfer on 2nd down, going deep. The pass intended for Charles Wilson. Deion Sanders, Merton Hanks in on the coverage. Trent Dilfer out of Fresno State. Grew up a Los Angeles Rams fan despite living in the vicinity of San Francisco. Tim Irwin, 187 consecutive starts out of the Buccaneers lineup today. So Scott Dill moves over to right tackle. McDowell and work with the running backs. Courtney Hawkins, Charles Wilson, the wide receivers, and the tight end is Jackie Harris. Dilfer out of the shotgun on 3rd down, and he overthrows Courtney Hawkins.
Dilfer just a little bit nervous right now. You got to give it to him, okay? This is his first time coming in here under the gun in a packed place, basically at home for him. It's going to take him a couple series to settle down, but you know what? I like what Tampa Bay did right off the bat. They got the good kickoff return, and they settled in some different formations to try to confuse San Francisco. They just can't line up and let that front four get home on them. They got to try to trick them early.
Dexter Carter in single safety. The punter is hang time specialist Dan Straczynski. High punt by Straczynski. Carter calls for the fair catch at the 28. 32-yard punt by Straczynski. So the 49ers will start out on offense for the first time today. Steve Young, the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, completed his first 14 passes against the Falcons. He has not thrown an interception the last 2 games. The men protecting Steve Young, Wallace, Sapolu, Bartos, Derek Deese, Frank Pollitt, William Floyd, the rookie out of Florida State, Ricky Waters, Taylor, Rice, and Brent Jones. Young on first down. The pass is complete. John Taylor up to the 44-yard line. Marty Carter in on the stop.
Kenny, is that vintage 49er offense right there? The first play of the game, come out, nice quick pass, something safe, and get the chains moving.
Santana Dotson playing with a cast on his broken hand. Hardy Nickerson returning. He has missed 3 games with a severe ankle sprain. And the Buccaneers defensive backs, Dimry, the former Cowboy Everett, Carter, and Mayhew. On first down, this is Ricky Waters up to the 49-yard line. Once again, it is Marty Carter.
They're talking to Floyd Peters, the defensive coordinator for the Bucs. He felt that it was such a good thing to have Nickerson back in the lineup. I mean, here's a guy, Kenny, that's giving you 10, 13 tackles automatic a game. He said when he wasn't in there, they had to switch around the whole defense to make up for it. So now they can get back to what they were doing before.
On 2nd and 6, Young. His pass incomplete, intended for John Taylor. So Steve Young, who went 14 of his first 14 last week against the Falcons, with an early incompletion leading to a 3rd down and 6.
Interesting what Steve told us yesterday, Kenny, how they want to not just win this game. They want to look real good winning it, because the one memory he had was the last home game they had here against Philadelphia, and that's a memory that everybody in San Francisco is trying to forget.
3 wide receivers as Ed McCaffrey comes in, replacing the tight end Brent Jones. Now a 4 wide receiver set with only Waters in the backfield. Jones' quick pass is complete across midfield. Nate Singleton, the third-year man out of Grambling. And it will be a 4th down and 1. So
you can't give Nate Singleton and Jerry Rice and John Taylor this kind of credit. I mean, they're going to take this all day long. It doesn't look like much, but you know what? That moves the chains. And Tampa Bay's secondary, they're playing a 5 defensive back configuration. They're going to have to come up and get physical and bump and run sooner or later. They got away with it that time, but later on they're going to be tested.
So a 5-yard gain, not enough for the first down. Klaus Wilmsmeyer. The deep men, Thomas Everett and Courtney Hawkins. And Everett makes the fair catch at the 13-yard line. 33-yard punt by Wilmsmeyer. So Trent Dilfer leads the Buccaneers out of the field once again, making his first NFL start in front of about 250 friends and family members. We spoke to Trent about his excitement.
I think it'll be a great thrill. It's been something I've anticipated and I've been looking forward to, especially coming home to California and then being 50 minutes from where I grew up. And I'll have a few hundred people there tomorrow rooting me on. That'll add something to it. But most importantly, it'll mean that I've accomplished something. I've come here and I've worked really hard in the time I've been here, and obviously impressed the coaching staff enough during the starting position.
Vince Workman gained 7 on first down.
Kenny, you see there, they had 3 tight ends in the game, and right now we're looking at what's called the sugar huddle. They're just going to huddle real close to the line. They want to give Dilfer time to think things over and look at the defense, and that's what they're doing here. But look at the multiple formations, Kenny. I don't know if the 49ers are prepared for a 3 tight end configuration.
Dilfer hands it off, and the Buccaneers have the first down. 6-yard gain up the middle by the fullback Anthony McDowell.
All they're trying to get here is a hat on a hat, and that's what they got. It's just man-to-man blocking. It's nothing fancy. And Norton right there, he gets caught up into traffic, and they're going to see this play a lot more today, Kenny.
On first down, the Buccaneers keep it on the ground. 4 yards on the play. Vince Workman, who last week against the Falcons was held to -2 yards on 7 carries. So Vince looking to get back in the swing of things.
Look at this huddle here, the sugar again. Let's see if we can hear the calls being made by Dilfer.
Dilfer's pass is almost picked off. Flag on the play around the 50-yard line. Buccaneers once again going with 3 tight ends. 1 back.
Holding number 51 defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, they got Norton right there, Kenny, on the hold inside. Seifert looks on. See, these are the kind of mistakes that they can't afford to have early on. Kenny Norton right there. He's going to grab just a little bit of cloth. And I'll tell you what, Kenny, I don't see it on that one. Perhaps they called it somewhere else, but that looked totally legal.
Dilfer on first down. Ducks it off to Workman. And the pass is incomplete. Ken Norton on the coverage. Trent Dilfer now 0 for his first 3 pass attempts.
Yeah, but they got to help Trent out here. I mean, Vince Workman, I played with Vince up in Green Bay. He's a sure-handed kind of guy. He's got to make that catch.
Once again, the Buccaneers to the line quickly on second down and 10. And Dilfer's pass is complete, and a big hit. The completion to the tight end, Jackie Harris. There's Tim McDonald, 4-time Pro Bowl safety.
Interesting story about McDonald. You know, he got sent home on Wednesday, had the flu, wasn't really sure if he was going to play. Has complained quite a bit about not being involved in the defense the way it was last year, having moved to strong safety with Dion coming aboard. But now I think he's in a position where he can make some make some plays, and he's happy with that. He just wants to contribute more on the team.
3rd down and 6. Dilfer's pass incomplete. Double coverage. The pass intended for the tight end Jackie Harris once again. And the Buccaneers will punt for the 2nd time.
Yeah, the thing about when you're playing those zone defenses, when you're going to throw underneath, everybody's looking at the quarterback and they're going to break on the football. That time, there were about 4 red shirts around the ball.
Dan Straczynski. There is Dexter Carter in his 5th season out of Florida State. Straczynski angles this one out of bounds. And the 49ers will start out from their own 23-yard line. 35-yard punt by Straczynski. Well, there is the 1981 San Francisco 49ers team picture, which included assistant coaches Sam Weish and George Seifert.
Well, you talk about a lot of talent. You've got to go back to Bill Walsh. He's been able to put together a staff that, you know, even now we see them in head coaching positions and offensive defensive coordinator positions. Just success all the way around.
Young on 1st down. The pass was behind Ricky Waters. Sam Weish was the 49ers quarterbacks coach. George Seifert coached the defensive backs.
Yeah, now that time Tampa Bay, they brought Bussey, number 27. He's playing what they call that bucko position, that 5th DB combination linebacker. And that's the kind of heat they got to get on Young early. And, you know, by blitzing Kenny, they'll keep both backs in. And that means that the attention has to focus now on just 3 guys instead of both backs out and 5 guys.
Ricky Waters around right tackle across the 30, 35. Finally forced out of bounds by Marty Carter at the 46. 23-yard gain by Ricky Waters, the 49ers leading rusher this season.
You know, one attribute of a real good running back is that they can see well and they can bounce outside and make all plays. Watch Waters here. This play is supposed to cut inside right here. But look at the move, just a little stutter step and down the side. You see he lost the ball right there, Kenny, just a bit. And I think he could have held on. He might have had an extra step on Carter, who came over and made a nice play.
From the 46, William Floyd, the rookie out of Florida State. Member of the Seminoles National Championship Club a year ago. Floyd starting his 3rd consecutive game. It was Mark Logan at the fullback position early this season, replacing Tom Rathman now with the Raiders. But William Floyd has established himself as the Niners starter at fullback.
Yeah, and like we said in the top of the show, he's quicker, he's a little faster, he's a little bit stronger. I mean, you just have a Tom Rathman, but just a little faster package.
2nd down and 8. On play action, Young looking downfield, and he finds Jerry Rice at the 41-yard line. Gain of 12, upended by the free safety, Thomas Everett.
Boy, see what happens when you run the football a couple times, and then you come with a play action. That time on the roll out there, Young, he had all kind of time to throw the football. And when you give a guy like Young time to throw the football, he's going to pick you apart. And that's what we're talking about, too, is the offense for Tampa Bay has got to keep these guys off the football field.
Jerry Rice extending his streak now, a reception in 135 consecutive games. Here's Young on 1st down, had no one to throw to. And Young all the way down. He keeps on going to the 13-yard line. 27 yards for the quarterback, Steve Young.
Jerry and Hardy Nickerson got into it a little bit there at the end of the play. What you're going to see here, he wants to go to Jerry inside real quick, but they take it away, and they're playing zone. You see 21 Magruder As Young starts to scramble, he goes back into coverage, and that's what you should do. Because if you come up, he's going to throw it over your head. And right here, this is just the strength and power of Steve Young. I mean, a lot of people will say this guy is worse as a runner. I mean, he hurts you more as a runner than he does as a passer.
Here's Ricky Waters. Waters forced out of bounds at the 1. Well, they say touchdown. Late call on the far side. It looked as if Ricky Waters stepped out of bounds, but he is in for the touchdown on the 13-yard run.
You know, Waters only has 319 yards coming into this game, but it's not your total carries. It's what you do per carry. And for some reason, people don't think Waters is all that fast or that strong, but as we can see, that's a combination of both. He stiff arms Mayhew and runs by him at the same time.
Doug Bryant connects. 2 big running plays on the drive. Waters for 23 yards. And then Steve Young, the longest run from scrimmage this season by a member of the 49ers, 27 yards. So the 2 big plays. And then Ricky Waters with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season.
All they're running is a toss to the right. They're going to get seams on people, get chip blocks. You see the crack right there from Rice. I mean, that was the key block on Everett. And you put Ricky Waters, Kenny, one-on-one with anybody in the league, and I tell you, I got to give him the nod. I mean, I wonder when is it going to be when this guy gets his due. When you're talking to him in the locker room yesterday, he said, man, I'm ready to go. You know, I know that I haven't carried a lot, and I've caught more balls out of the backfield. I really don't care. Just give me the ball, give me opportunities, and whatever way it is, I'm going to make things happen, and he's doing that.
Ricky Waters reached the end zone twice last week, both on pass plays. 4th season out of Notre Dame. It is the San Francisco 49ers 7, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers nothing. 6 plays, 77 yards among the 4 rushes. 23 yards by Waters, 27 by Steve Young, and then the 13-yard touchdown scamper by Waters. Charles Wilson. And Wilson is taken down by Kevin Mitchell. Flags on the play after the 13-yard kick return by Charles Wilson.
Turner out with a knee injury.
Personal foul. We've got a low block on the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
I was just saying, Kenny, Vernon Turner, he was out with a knee injury, so they've had to make some changes back there as far as the kickoff return team is concerned. But they've had some success in special teams in terms of that, and they need to get that going today.
Well, Ron, in today's politically correct world, George Carlin is one guy who's not afraid to tell it like it is. After a brand new episode of the George Carlin Show tonight at 9:30, right after an all-new Married with Children. After the penalty, Bucs will start out all the way back. Well, now they say the penalty was on the Niners. The original call by the referee, Howard Rowe, he said it was on the return team, but now the ball is walked up to the 40. So after a discussion amongst the officials, the penalty actually called on George Seifert's Niners.
Now, Dilfer's got to settle down here and just think about moving the chains. You know, he's got great field position. Don't make any hurry throws, and just overlook the situation and move the chains.
Vince Workman on the stunner step up to the 45-yard line. Gain of 5 yards.
The penalty right here, Dedrick Dodge, number 33. Watch what he does. That is illegal. 30 years ago, Kenny, you know, you could do that and cut people on special teams. You can't do that. You got to stay high.
Here's Workman again. Gain of 3 on the play. It'll be third down right now for a McDonald's game break. Let's return to James Brown in Hollywood.
Hey, Kenny, I know Ron Pitts knows the rules well, but take a look at this. Tommy Barnhart of the Saints punched this one into the end zone. None of his Saints teammates down the ball, so it's still alive. Robert Bailey of the Rams knows it, scoops it up, heads downfield. Barnhart, he's not aware. Bailey takes it in for the score, and it's now a 3-point Saints lead. Back to Kenny and Ron.
Thanks, JB. On third down, Workman is stopped short. Vince Workman carrying the ball on all 3 plays, and it looks as if he did not gain the first down. Tim McDonald in on the stop once again, and Dan Straczynski comes out for the 3rd time in this first quarter.
Yeah, you know, we got to understand that the Bucs have made some changes in the offensive line today. Scott Dill, he moves over to the right tackle position. McCray comes up the middle there and takes in the guard position. So, you know, there's a question as to whether they can have some effectiveness running, and can they protect Dilfer. So far, they've done a pretty good job protecting Dilfer, though.
And we talked about Straczynski's hang time. Bucs opponents averaging just over 3 yards per punt return. And Carter is forced to make the fair catch back at the 16, 35-yard punt by Dan Straczynski. So the 49ers will start out deep in their own territory after moving downfield rapidly on their last possession, culminating in the 13-yard touchdown run by Ricky Waters. And last week, Ron, Waters with the slam dunk over the crossbar,
which he
after
missed.
His touchdown.
He missed that. The ball slammed into the end of the stadium.
Well, we did not see a similar reaction this time. 49ers, big effort so far on first down. They start out from their own 17. Here's Waters. He breaks another one. 10 more yards. Ricky Waters now with 50 yards rushing in the first quarter alone. His season high 59 against the Chiefs.
I want you to watch the block by here. Remember, 61, Jesse Sapulo. He's going to loop around and seal off Hardy Nickerson right there. That's the key block. You give Waters that kind of crease in there, Kenny, and people don't have to blow holes up. They just got to give creases for a guy like that to be effective.
On first down, this is William Floyd, and he is run into at the line of scrimmage. Marty Bussey, Marty Carter, and Santana Dotson. Dotson the first man in. Santana Dotson playing with a cast on his broken left hand, suffered against the Lions back during week 5.
Yeah, and see, that's a better version of that cast. Last week, Kenny, he had a cast that came and covered all of his fingers. He couldn't bend his wrist. And so he complained about it so much they had to get him something where he could bend his wrist and make a tackle. Now at least he's got a chance to play out there.
Second down and 9. Quick pass to tight end Brent Jones. Extends to the 36. Brought down by Thomas Everett. Brent Jones caught only 1 pass last week. It was for a touchdown. He said he stated to block more last week against the Falcons than he ever has during his 8-year career.
Yeah, that time the Bucs bring Nickerson on the blitz inside, and when you're going to bring a linebacker, you got to understand you're voiding a zone, and that time they void the zone underneath, and the guy covering in that position, he's got to cover even tighter because that ball's coming out right now.
Third down and 1. And Young's pass is complete. Nate Singleton has the first down at the 39-yard line. So Nate Singleton with his second reception of the ball game.
Kenny, they're having a matchup problem, I think, the Bucs are. That time Everett, who's a safety, he came down and had to play corner on Rice, and he had to give him some room. He's not used to playing in that position. And I'm not knocking his cover skills. Everett's an excellent defensive back, but that's just not the kind of matchup you want to get, especially in a 3rd and 1 situation.
On first down, trick play. This is John Taylor. He's looking to throw it. And the pass is almost intercepted. Penalty flags. Ricky Waters all the way downfield. Barney Bussey, Marty Carter on the coverage. Well, the San Francisco 49ers expected the trickery from the Buccaneers, but George Seifert with a trick play of his own with John Taylor.
Interference. Number 27 defense. First down.
Here's Waters right here. He's going to sneak out, but I want you to watch the offensive lineman and the play action. Look at all the people on the other side of the ball, and Taylor's going to just come back and throw it. He wanted to go to right, straight down the middle of the field, but he comes back. And here, the play is, I figure they got to call Carter for that because he had his back turned and wasn't playing the ball.
We welcome those of you who have witnessed the New Orleans Saints victory over the LA Rams as Steve Young finds John Taylor. Kenny Albert, Ron Pitts from Candlestick Park, where the 49ers lead the Buccaneers by the score of 7-0. Ricky Waters on a 13-yard touchdown run midway through this first quarter, and the Niners marching downfield once again thanks to a 36-yard pass interference call as John Taylor took the handoff and was looking for Ricky Waters downfield. Second down and 1. William Floyd has the first down.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions about this 49er offensive line coming into the season. They made some changes when they lost Guy McIntyre to Green Bay. That meant Jesse Sapula had to come over and play guard. They got Oates in from the Giants. Derek Deese, you know, and then they had the big injury to Harris Barton, and so Pollock had to step in and play. There was just a lot of questions, and like Steve told us yesterday, we got tired of trying to make the offense so everybody could be comfortable. We're just going to go out now and game plan and do it like we always do it.
Young, after he faked the handoff to Waters, he was looking for Brent Jones. The Saints, big day for Tyrone Hughes. 2 kick return touchdowns, 37-34 victory over the LA Rams. Rams dropped to 3-4. Final minute of play in this first quarter. Steve Young, 5 out of 9, 53 yards. And 1 carry for 27 yards, which set up the Ricky Waters touchdown. Young on second down, rolling right, and he was tripped up.
Yeah, for Tampa Bay in this situation, you want to try to hold the 49ers to at least a field goal, obviously, because they are so good in the red area. As we look at Floyd Peters right there, defensive coordinator, you know, I asked him if he works out because he's about 6'4", 215. He's a huge guy. And he does a lot of yelling. They call him Sergeant Bilko out there in the field. He gets that voice going.
Floyd Peters, a former 49ers assistant coach. He attended San Francisco State, so he is very familiar with the Bay Area. As this first quarter comes to an end with the 49ers on top, 7-0. It'll be a 3rd down and 6 when the second quarter picks up. The 49ers with a record of 5-2. Victories over the Raiders, Rams, Saints, Lions, and Falcons. Lost to the Chiefs and the Eagles. In fact, their last home game, that 48 loss to Philadelphia, which dropped the 49ers to 3-2. But since then, 2 victories on the road.
Yeah, the thing about that game, which Tampa Bay is going to try to do today, is be physical. That's the one thing that Philadelphia did. They came right out of the box and they pounded on the 49ers. They'll all tell you that. And so Weiss yesterday said, yeah, physical play, Ron, that's what we got to get going. We got to hit them. We got to hit them hard early. And they talked about down the field using the wide receivers to do a lot of blocking on their defensive backs. He kind of felt like, well, nobody wants to hit Dion and nobody wants to hit Davis and nobody wants to hit the secondary. Hey, this is football. We got to hit these people. That's what it's all about.
Sam Weiss, who spent 8 years in Cincinnati. George Seifert, his 6th season as head coach of the 49ers. George Seifert was an usher at 49ers games during his high school years. He said never in a million years would he have thought back then that he would be coaching the 49ers. He said, as a youngster, you have dreams of possibly playing for the Niners, but never roaming the sidelines as head coach.
Yeah, he didn't even think twice about it. I said, Coach, you got to believe. I mean, that had to be a great thing to sit there and think one day, I'd be down the field, maybe playing. Or Coach, he said, nope, never even crossed my mind. And talk about a laid-back guy. But at practice, he wears his khakis and his loafers with no socks on and a T-shirt and those glasses. He is one cool dude.
Third down and 6 from the Buccaneers 9 as we begin quarter number 2. Young finds Waters. Pushed out at the 3.
I think, Kenny, when you don't blitz the 49ers and give Young some kind of pressure and make them keep in a back, they get everybody out, and that's what hurts you.
We welcome those of you who have watched the Detroit Lions 21-16 win over the Chicago Bears. Kenny Albert, Ron Pitts from Candlestick Park. 49ers 7, Buccaneers nothing on a 13-yard touchdown run by Ricky Waters. It is a 4th down and 1 from the Tampa 4.
Oh, boy, that's big time there. Popson, tight end, jumps.
Prior to the snap, we got a false start on number 85 offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
See, those are the kind of mistakes that get you out of the game. Number 85 right here, Popson, for some reason, he's just going to lunge forward. Jerry picks up on the other side, but he's picking up to hear the play change. Young changed the play. I don't think Popson got it. He thought it was a snap count, and he moved.
27-yard field goal attempt. Doug Bryant.
We might get a look at this new encroachment rule here, depending on who they're going to say moved. Sam not too happy about the call, what the call could be.
Encroachment, number 91 defense. Contact prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
That is former San Francisco 49er Carl Wilson.
Yeah, that's part of the new rule. If you jump offside, number 91 Wilson right here, he's going to jump and get into the neutral zone. And then it wasn't just him. There was about 4 or 5 other guys that jumped too. They could have called that on anybody. I guess they just say, well, we saw your number in plain day, so we'll just call you.
Once again, it is 4th down and 1. Around the 49ers, 8 of 11 this season on 4th down conversions. So they have done very well on 4th down.
And Tampa Bay just shoots himself in the foot that time. All they got to do is make him kick the field goal. And look at this.
Well, the distance.
Brian's coming back on the field.
We saw Steve Young indicating that it was not exactly 4th and inches. It's about 4th and 2 feet. So.
Well, I understand George's thinking here. Why mess around? I got 7. Why mess around? You got to watch the fake here, too. Why mess around and miss this conversion? Go ahead and just take the points.
23-yard field goal attempt, and it is 10-0 49ers. Doug Bryant connects from 23. We'll be right back. 40-yard return by Wilson. Buccaneers will take over in terrific field position when we come back. Week, Fox NFL Sunday begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific with the hottest 1-hour pregame show on television. Then at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific, most of you will see the Lions battle the Giants. Others will watch Philadelphia meet Washington or Dallas and Cincinnati. At 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, it's the Vikings and the Buccaneers. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area right here on Fox Sports. Stilfer's pass is complete, and then a hard hit by Lee Woodall on the rookie on rookie, Eric Rett, with his first reception of the ball game, and then Lee Woodall, the rookie out of Division II Westchester College in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you know, Woodall is known as a hitter and a guy who can cover, and that time he shows both of them. And Kenny, did you hear the sound on that play? That's big time, boy. That's some hitting going on.
Loss of 1 on the previous play. Dilfer has some time, goes across the field, and it is incomplete, intended for Charles Wilson. Deion Sanders moving up on the coverage. We have not seen the Buccaneers throw one Sanders' way so far. And we talked about Deion's injury. He was 50-50 yesterday, according to Coach George Seifert, with the groin injury.
There's the sugar huddle right there. He's just telling everybody the play. Actually, that's the walk-by huddle. They're not going to huddle up. He's just going to, everybody walks by, he tells them to play. Let's listen if we can see the call.
Dilfer on 3rd and 11, and it is tipped by Merton Hanks. Merton Hanks, 4th season out of Iowa, got a hand on it, and once again the Buccaneers will punt.
You know, I'm surprised there's nobody deep down the field. Merton Hanks, he'll be number 36, but I want you to watch the protection that Dilfer has off the bat. He's got to step up here, but after that, all he's got to do is make a throw. But that's just a good play, too, by Hanks.
Dan Straczynski's 4th punt of this first half. Dexter Carter calls for the fair catch at the 23-yard line. 37-yard punt by Straczynski. 10-0 Niners. Lead the Buccaneers by the score of 10-0 early in this second quarter. Kenny Albert along with Ron Pitts are on the story so far. Total yards, 49ers 145 and the Buccaneers just 27.
Yeah, you know, they found a way to keep Hardy Nickerson out of the game. I think that's key, too.
Steve Young on 1st down finds Waters, and he has another. San Francisco 49ers 1st down. The stop made by Hardy Nickerson. Hardy Nickerson, who missed the last 3 games, injured on the first play of the game against the Green Bay Packers back on September 25th. A severe ankle sprain on this play.
There's Nickerson right there. He's going to come across here, make a play, and I want you to watch his left leg. He gets it stuck into soft turf there at Lambeau. Luckily for them, it was just a sprain.
Brent Jones on 1st down. He fumbles, and it's recovered by Charles Dimry of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's one of the things right there. We knew that Brent Jones would show up sooner or later, but it's the turnovers. Last week against Atlanta, the turnovers helped the 49ers. 23 here, Marty Carter, he gets his right arm right there, and he knocks the ball out. Jones fumbled with it for a second. Dimry following up the play and gets the fumble recovery. That's what they need, Kenny. Turnovers fast.
Buccaneers start from their own 45. This is Eric Rett up the middle, gains 4 yards. To the all-time leading rusher for the Gators, surpassing Emmitt Smith, Neil Anderson. The Buccaneers now at midfield. In fact, they have started an excellent field position here today. On the previous drives, they've started from the 49, the 40, and now the 45. Here's Rett once more, and he has the 1st down. Right now for an NFL update, let's go to our Hollywood studio and James Brown.
All right, Kenny, we take you down to Phoenix, where Dallas scored on the opening drive. Aikman to Harper. Aikman is out injured right now. Rodney Peete in. They're all tied. Back to Kenny.
From the 49ers, 43. Play action, Dilfer. He was in the grass. Dana Stubblefield, last year's NFC Defensive Rookie of the Year, 10.5 sacks. In 1993, that is his 5th sack of 94.
You know, one thing about Stubblefield, he's a great upfield push guy. We're going to see on this play, 94, he's right here. Look at the way he just runs over an offensive lineman and then makes the tackle. And then they got a call. That's a good call in the grass there, but he's just great up the field. He's always hard up the field. And see, when they get Dent back in the game, they're going to have that plus a guy coming around the corner.
On 2nd and 18. The pass complete. Jackie Harris up to the 38-yard line. 13-yard gain, so it will be 3rd down and 5.
The thing about Jackie Harris is he gives you not only a great blocker, but has a lot of speed, and he's what they call a vertical tight end. His routes go up the field. Brent Jones is a vertical tight end, up the field.
On 3rd and 5, the pass is broken up by Eric Davis. Intended for Lawrence Dawsey, number 80, making his return. He tore knee ligaments back in October of '93. So Lawrence Dawsey, the Bucs' leading receiver in '91 and '92, playing in his first game in over a year.
What can you say? Just look at the drive and the way Davis strips that football. You know, they talk about how this game is a game of inches and steps. Well, if he's a step late, that's a reception. But he makes up the step on his break and looking at the quarterback, and he makes the play. You can't really say anything bad right now about Dilfer. He's getting the protection, and he's hitting the people he knows he has to hit.
Straczynski's 5th punt. Caught her at the 10. 29-yard punt by Dan Straczynski. We'll be back from Candlestick in just a moment. Rising on the Fox Tuesday night movie. Well, back to earth here in San Francisco. It's Ricky Waters on 1st down.
What the 49ers have done, or what Tampa Bay has done to the 49ers, is that they've always made them start out in pretty bad field position. And Tampa Bay, on the other hand, has started out in good field position. And that's key for them right now. You know, they're down 10-0. It's easy to say, well, here we go again. But if they can make them start out like this and get more turnovers, I think they'll have a chance to have some success here today.
On 2nd down, Ricky Waters to the 20. Tripped up by Thomas Everett. Ricky Waters so far today, 6 carries, 61 yards. And that is the best running day this season by a 49er. And we are still early 2nd quarter. And the injured Buccaneers, Chidi Ahanatu. The left defensive end, Chidi Ahanatu, slow to get up. We'll be right back from Candlestick. Steve Young on 1st down, and the pass is complete. William Floyd out of the backfield. Gains 8 yards on 1st down. Hardy Nickerson on the stop.
Yeah, Young, that time he gets up off the ground, and that's another thing that's going to be important for Tampa Bay is when Young goes back to pass, make sure he hits the ground. And we talk about that a lot these days. If quarterback hits on the quarterback, how many times does he have to get up after a play?
Chidi Ahanatu out of Berkeley High School and the University of California at Berkeley. 40 friends and family here today. Chidi shaken up moments ago. Floyd, big gain across the 45. All the way down to the Buccaneers' 46-yard line. 25 yards for William Floyd. He was finally stopped by Charles Dimry.
I just want you to watch the trap blocking scheme on this side of the line of scrimmage. Nickerson picks a spot. And when you pick a spot like that, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. But, Kenny, that hole right there is unbelievable. And you don't see Everett miss too many tackles. He's usually a short tackler. But that's what we're talking about, the speed and the power of Floyd. He's like a stronger, faster Tom Rathman.
Runs of over 20 yards today by Young, Waters, and now Floyd. A big play 1st half on the ground for the 49ers. And now flags.
Delay of game offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
And you look at the 49ers in practice, and I don't think a team practices more efficiently than these guys do. They don't stay out there very long. They don't really work real hard in terms of hitting. In fact, they don't hit much at all, but everything is at a real fast clip. It's right, it's tight, it's precise, and that's the way they play, except for that play.
Young on 1st and 15 is taken down. Santana Dotson with his first sack of the season. Dotson has played well against the 49ers each of the last 2 years, and he comes through and takes down Steve Young.
71 Dotson, you know, he's a sack leader for a rookie for the Bucs. He just beats Pollock. And Pollock, there's a situation where they've had to make a change. Barton was in, Harris Barton. He got the tricep injury, so now they've moved some people around. And that is the one area they talked all week long about how they felt Pollock made a short corner on the tackle. They could get around him easy on the outside. They do that time.
Ed McCaffrey in motion. 2nd and 20. Ricky Waters, and he is tripped up by Tony Stargell.
Great play by Tony Stargell. You see the way Young, he pumped the ball and he held it just a little bit too long. He felt like the linemen weren't out there ready for the screen, and that step that he held it, that enabled Stargell to come up and get outside leverage on Waters. Great football play.
Gain of only 1 yard, 3rd down and 19. You talked about the Niners offensive line. Young was not sacked last week by the Falcons. In fact, he was hit just once. That is not the case here today. Young on 3rd and long, and it is knocked away. The pass incomplete. So the 49ers will be forced to punt. There we see Hardy Nickerson and the intended receiver, Nate Singleton.
49ers got to be careful here now. I know that they got 10 points on the board, but they keep giving the Bucs good field position, and they keep starting in poor field position. 1 or 2 more turnovers in this game, and things could swing quite a bit, especially the penalties. That's probably been the most disappointing thing so far for the 49ers. I would say it's already cost them at least 7 points down here on the end zone.
4 penalties.
Exactly.
Klaus Wilmsmeyer and some commotion. The Niners had 12 men on the field, and they are forced to call timeout.
Kenny, I think the situation there, they didn't have enough people on the field. They tried to rush Wilson on at the last minute. And that goes back to mental errors that Seifert always talks about avoiding day in and day out.
Welcome back to Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Kenny Albert, Ron Pitch. That is Klaus Wilmsmeyer. From his own 30, Courtney Hawkins. Back deep for the Buccaneers, who trail 10-0. 6:08 to go, 2nd quarter. Hawkins back to the 18. He eluded the first hit.
Oh, he's got a wall.
41-yard punt, 2-yard return. Today's Aflac NFL trivia question: who did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers acquire in the Steve Young trade back in 1987? We will have the answer coming up. Answer to our Aflac NFL trivia question: the Buccaneers acquired a 2nd and 4th round draft pick. In exchange for Steve Young with the 2nd round pick, they chose Winston Moss, a linebacker who played 4 seasons with the Buccaneers, and the 4th round selection, tight end Ron Hall, who played 7 years in Tampa. This is Eric Rett around the left tackle, and a big gain on 1st down, 17 yards. His longest gain as a pro.
You know, a guy up front who doesn't get a lot of credit for this running offense is 61 Mayberry right there. I mean, it doesn't look like he does a lot, but he just keeps Plummer from getting to the outside, and that's the guy who's got to fill in the alley.
1st and 10 from the 38. Play action pass, still for complete. Jackie Harris across midfield, finally taken out of bounds by Lee Woodall. Inside 49ers territory. Another 17-yard gain by Tampa Bay.
I want you to watch what happens here. They're going to do the play action, and this is what happens. There's Jackie Harris. This is what happens when you get the running going early. Stop it right here. Look at all the 49ers on the left side of the football, and Jackie Harris is wide open, Kenny. That's why it's important to run it and have success early.
Dilfer hands it off. Eric Rett. Tim McDonald makes the tackle. Eric Rett, who came in as the Buccaneers' leading rusher, 2nd round draft pick.
You know, this seems to be the word around the league is that when you play the 49ers, make Plummer and Norton fill inside and tackle. They're runners. They like to outrun you to the boundary. Make them stay inside, stay at home, and take it on one-on-one.
From the 40, Dilfer, quick pass is complete on the far side. Lawrence Dawsey, his first reception in over a year. Eric Davis made the stop. Lawrence Dawsey in his 4th season out of Florida State.
Yeah, Dawsey's a guy who had torn 2 knee ligaments, been out all year long, a heavy rehabilitation schedule. But the thing that's important about him is that he improved his 40 time. It didn't increase, he improved it. So he's actually a faster guy than he was before he hurt his knee, thanks to his rehabilitation.
On 3rd down and 2, movement on the line. And flags thrown once again. Looks like it is on the Buccaneers.
Prior to the snap, we got a false start on number 76 offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
That is Scott Dill, who moved over from left guard to right tackle in the absence of Tim Irwin.
There's Dill right there. He's going to raise up out of his stance just a little bit. And, you know, that's what happens when you're that tackle position. You don't get help inside. You're one-on-one, so those guys, they get a little nervous on that outside, trying to get out of there and protect the quarterback.
3rd down and 7. Dilfer dumps it off to Eric Rett. Not enough for the first down. He gained 5. Ball spotted inside the 36-yard line. So the question now, will the Buccaneers go for it on 4th? And between 2 and 3 yards to go for the first down. It looks like they will.
With the exception of Irwin, this offensive line, I mean, they've been around here all together since '90, and they are doing an excellent job of protecting Trent Dilfer. And the Buccaneers forced to call timeout on 4th down and 3. We'll return to Candlestick Park in just a moment. Hey, Fox Sports presents Cowboys visit Cincinnati's haunted jungle. Randall Cunningham and the Eagles pull out their tricks on the Redskins. At 4 o'clock, a full moon presides over Tampa when the Vikings encounter the Bucs. It all begins with JB and his bewitching gang at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, right here on Fox Sports. 4th down and 3. Dilfer goes to the air. It is almost intercepted by Eric Davis. Now that could have been disastrous. That time they had a miscommunication on the checkoff play. Dilfer said all week long, they're looking for the blitz right here. There's Wilson. The blitz is coming up the middle. Dilfer thinks he's throwing to a quick out. Wilson doesn't get the checkoff, or it's miscommunicated somehow. He's running up the field. The guy who he throws to who's actually running out is Davis, and he should have taken that one back to the house.
Trent Dilfer, 6 of 14, 42 yards. Howard Rowe.
Prior to the snap, we got a false start on number 61 and 75 offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
Jesse right there, he's going to make the move. He's just going to come up just a little bit before the snap. You're not going to see that too many times out of Jesse Sapolo. 6'4", 270, 12th year out of Y, been to the Pro Bowl as a center here last year, sacrificed his position, moved back to help the team at left guard.
On 1st down, the pass is picked off. Thomas Everett, flag on the play. We'll have to wait and see what the call is. Thomas Everett. Steve Young indicates it's on Tampa Bay, as does Howard Rowe.
Yeah, there's a situation with the turnovers we talked about. Not quite coming to fruition, though.
Illegal contact, number 56 defense. 5-yard penalty, First down.
Oh, that's Hardy. You know, a lot of times when a guy's playing hurt, especially on an ankle, you're not moving as well as you want to move. So your coverage suffers because your technique is bad. You can't execute all your techniques. A lot of times guys will grab in there to make up for not being able to run quite as fast.
On first down, Ricky Waters. Finally dragged down by Brad Culpepper.
Great block that time by William Floyd, leading Ricky Waters through the hole. I mean, how much can you say about this guy? Yeah, we're going to see it right here. Floyd, he's going to lead to the left side of the screen, and watch the chop block he puts on Martz right there. I mean, you look at this hole here. He's got two guys coming through the middle. I mean, you can't give Waters that kind of room to run the football. They've got to find a way to get people on him faster.
4-yard gain by Waters. Wide open is John Taylor. Make that Ricky Waters. Ricky Waters down to the 13 on a 45-yard gain. And he is a bit slow to get up.
Well, he should be. I mean, after the way he's running the football, now he's catching the football. And to me, this just looks like a missed assignment. The middle of the field is just wide open. We're going to slow it down and stop it right here. There's nobody anywhere near Ricky Waters.
Another big play by the 49ers. They are down to the Buccaneers 50. We'll have scores and highlights from Week 8 of the NFL season. That's coming up next on the Dockers halftime. First down after the long gain by Waters. This is Waters once more. And he fumbles on the play. It's recovered by the Niners. Brent Jones on the recovery. Waters fumbled. It was in and out of the hands of Thomas Everett. And then Brent Jones was right there.
That may have been the Bucs' big chance to turn this game around before the first half. Waters, he's on the outside like he's been several other times today. But you can see the way he's carrying the ball right there, and he gets a good hit. Nickerson making the play. He gets his left hand on it, and Everett he's thinking about running with the football, but in that situation, I think he just needs to get possession.
On second and 13, Young's pass is complete. Dexter Carter in for a rare appearance with the offense. Carter, the kick and punt returner, had touched the ball only 2 times this year on offense, and that is his first reception of the season.
One of the many Florida State guys on this team, and you know, you look at him. Here's a guy taken by the 49ers in the first round, the first guy taken in the first round running back since Earl Cooper in '80. I mean, that guy, you know, for a guy that can do the kickoff returns and do all the stuff he does, he's really on top of his game, and he's really been a lot to this organization.
The play clock down to 3, and Steve Young calls timeout with 46 seconds to go in this second quarter. 49ers with the ball on the Bucs 7. It will be 3rd down and 3. Lead the Buccaneers 10-0. 13-yard run by Ricky Waters in the first quarter. 23-yard field goal by Doug Bryan here in the second. It is 3rd down and 3. 49ers 20 touchdowns in 26 red zone opportunities this season. Young, touchdown Niners. Ed McCaffrey, his first of the season.
Yeah, Kenny McCaffrey's a guy who's with the Giants the last 3 years, and he led the Giants in receptions in '92, so he's been effective. You're looking for Jerry, you're looking for Taylor, you're looking for Brent Jones. I mean, everybody forgets about McCaffrey. And the thing also is he came out of the backfield. He was lined up in the backfield, and I'm sure everybody missed it.
Doug Bryan to attempt the point after. Wilmsmeyer had some trouble with the hold. The kick is good. Ed McCaffrey who attended nearby Stanford, his first touchdown as a San Francisco 49er.
Yeah, he came out of the backfield. That's the first time I've seen the 49ers. Here he is right here. He's in the backfield, and I know that nobody else realized that 21 Magruder, he comes back inside. He takes away Brent Jones in the middle, and it's wide open for him. Take a look at Sam, how he feels about all this. And it's a shame because if Everett can secure that fumble recovery, it's a different game, and maybe he even takes it down the sidelines, Kenny, for a 90-yard touchdown, and now it's really a different football game.
The Buccaneers fell behind 24-0 to Atlanta in their last game 2 weeks ago. Right now, 17-0 as Bryant's kick sails out of the end zone.
You don't see that very often with the new rules. That thing is back 5 yards from last year. He put it 10 yards out of the goal line, past the goal line. Well, he's here. You know, he went to school at Cal, so he's all fired up.
Tampa Bay will start out on their own 20. They have started in terrific field position. Look at that, the 49, the 40, the 40, the 45. Yet they have punted 5 times and were unsuccessful on 4th down during their last possession.
Yeah, I still say that Dilfer has really gotten a swing of the game. He's got a feel for it. He's getting protection, and this is a part of the learning process. They just got to give him these reps, and he will get better.
42 seconds to go in this first half as Dilfer is incomplete. Charles Wilson slipped.
You look at Dilfer getting, he slammed his hand on the ground. Remember, he talked to us about, I know everything I'm supposed to do. I know my blitz pickups. I know all the adjustments. I know the audibles. I know everything. It's just a matter of dealing with the decision time. You know, in college, you got about, he said, you got about 3 seconds less time to decide on the line of scrimmage, and that's an eternity.
2nd down and 10. Vince Workman on the delay. Wrestled down by Dana Stubblefield. Ron, how interesting is it that as we have an altercation going on in the backfield, number 28, Dana Hall of the 49ers, involved with wide receiver Courtney Hawkins.
See, that goes back to what Sam was talking about. We're going to go downfield, he said, with the wideouts, and we're going to hit people. We're not going to let these guys have the luxury of standing back here and letting their front four get to us. We're going to go attack them. And that time, Dana Hall retaliated from the cut block from Hawkins.
Ron, how interesting that the other first-round rookie quarterback, Heath Shuler of Washington, made his first start against the Cowboys. And here today, Trent Dilfer makes his initial NFL start against the San Francisco 49ers. So the 2 rookie quarterbacks thrown right into the fire.
Well, you know, that's okay. That's what you got to do. You got to put them in the fire because that's the only way they're going to learn. What good is it going to do anybody to sit them out, sit them on the pine, watch, go through training camp, and then throw them in a disaster and expect them to do well? Hey, let him get his lumps right now, and I guarantee you Trent Dilfer will be a great quarterback in this league someday.
20 seconds remaining, 2nd quarter. Dilfer hands it off. Here's Workman up to midfield. Todd Kelly, number 58, makes the tackle.
And they're back at Dana Hall again.
14 yards for Vince Workman. The Buccaneers call timeout with 13 seconds remaining.
You know, Tampa has just done everything right, I think. And it's just been unfortunate not getting a couple turnovers and taking advantage of them. But here's a draw play. Big down and distance situation. Watch 61 Mayberry. Look at that block right there. I tell you, Mayberry's a guy in this offensive line, Kenny, that should get a lot more credit for what he does. He makes all the calls up front, as we see Sam right there making the call through the coach and quarterback communication device. He makes all the calls up front. He handles the protection, the blocking schemes, and plays like that. That's what really turns the tide for this unit. That's a bright spot in this offensive unit, I'd say, for Tampa Bay, is the offensive line.
There's Dana Hall, who was involved just moments ago, lost the starting job to Deion Sanders. He also lost his wedding ring in the locker room last week. And today he loses his cool.
Dana Hall has not had a real great few years here in San Francisco. He came in as a #1 pick. People expected a lot out of him. He really didn't perform to the expectations. Now he's just trying to settle in and contribute on this team.
13 seconds remaining, second quarter. Dilfer, and it's just in and out of the hands of Lawrence Dawsey at the 30.
And there it is. A perfect throw, perfect time in the pocket. Dilfer steps up. You talk about a guy who's got an arm. We talk about Marino's release and Jeff George's release and all that, but this guy can do a shot. Dawsey coming in. He's going to come in a little in route and sneak in right behind the zone. 49ers given a lot of credit. But he's a receiver. He's got to receive the football. He's got to catch the football.
Now 8 seconds remaining. Dilfer up the middle again, and it is knocked down by Eric Davis.
Yeah, Davis is starting to get a lot more credit for what he means to this football team. You bring Deion in, and all the attention goes to him, and it should, because Deion Sanders is the real deal. But Eric Davis on the other side is carrying his load too, folks. Don't believe he's not.
This will be the final play of the first half. And Dilfer hands it off to Workman. That does it for the first half of play, as Deion Sanders and Curtis Buckley have some words. It's the San Francisco 49ers 17, Tampa Bay nothing. Stay tuned for the Dockers Stick Park. The Niners trying to go to 6-2. The Bucs come in with a record of 2 wins and 4 losses. Kenny Albert along with Ron Pitts, and Ron in that first half. It was the Ricky Waters show, 132 total yards. He had the 13-yard touchdown run in the first quarter, and then the 45-yard reception late in the second quarter, which set up the McCaffrey touchdown.
I think he's really showing people what he's all about. You know, he's caught a lot of passes in the past few weeks, but now he's really getting into the running game. And it's funny, they're doing what Tampa Bay prides himself on stopping, and that's the run and making tackles and all that kind of stuff.
And right now we will take a look at the first half highlights, brought to you by Proof Positive by MCI.
Waters here, I want you to watch the block that comes from the right side from Jerry Rice. Jerry gets a lot of, press and a lot of praise about being a wide receiver, but we're going to slow it down right here. Here he is. He's going to take out 2 people, Martz and Nickerson, on 1 block. Watch this. That leaves Waters one-on-one with a corner, any corner in the league. It doesn't matter. Comes with a stiff arm, and then he shows the speed and gets in the end zone. I mean, Waters is a guy, Kenny, a lot of enthusiasm, fired up all the time. His motor is always, always running. And the second play, this is the fumble now, a negative for Waters. Hardy Nickerson is going to come back across the field. He's going to just get his left hand on the football right here, and that ball comes out of there. But see, this is the turning point, I think, for the Bucs, because if Everett can pick this ball up and take it in for a touchdown, which I think he will because he's in full stride, the Bucs go in, they're down 10-7. Instead, they don't do it. They go in the halftime down 17-0.
286 total yards in the first half for the 49ers, who have not reached the 300-yard mark in any of their last 4 games. So the 49ers well on their way. And the 15 first downs to 7. But the total yards, the key, 286 San Francisco, Tampa Bay just 112.
And as you can see, the turnovers, that's 1 turnover for San Francisco. They're 1 away from getting in trouble, and that goes back to that fumble recovery, that missed fumble recovery opportunity by Everett.
And the rushing yards, the 49ers with 130. Ricky Waters already 68 yards. That is a high this season by the San Francisco 49ers. And there is Ricky Waters, who scored on the 13-yard touchdown run in the first quarter.
And those are the 49er do-rags that they talk about. Everybody, that's something that Deion has brought to this team, I think. He said, the problem I saw here in San Francisco is that these guys, they weren't having fun playing football. I mean, they got great talent, they got great coaches, and the city is great, but they just weren't having fun. That's what I want to bring to this franchise. I want guys to have fun. And it's infectious, as you can see there. Carter, he's next to him. He's got his do-rag on, too.
And Dion and the entire defensive backfield went out to dinner on Thursday night, and we asked Dion how much the check would run him, and he said, there are many establishments in this fine city that take care of us.
They take care of it.
Well, Michael Husted will take care of the second half kickoff. Dexter Carter is back deep. And Husted's kick rolls into the end zone. So the 49ers on their first possession of this third quarter. 1st and 10 from their own 20. Steve Young in that first half, 14 of 18, 161 yards, and the running backs caught 8 of the Steve Young passes, including 4 receptions by Ricky Waters. Young found 8 different receivers in that first half.
Yeah, well, there it is, though. But it's running back, see, and that's the problem with this offense when you face it, is that they get 5 guys out real fast, and now Young has his pit, and it makes it hard on the defense.
Ricky Waters lined up on the bottom of your screen as a wide receiver, and the quick pass is complete. Jerry Rice, who caught only 1 pass in that first half. So Young and Rice connect on the first play of this third quarter.
You know, they're not afraid to pass the ball. You think you're up 17-0. They have so much confidence in the way this style and the machine works, the 49er offensive machine, that they'll pass any time regardless of the situation.
10 yards on the pass play from Steve Young to Jerry Rice. On first down, Ricky Waters to the outside, has another San Francisco first down, up to midfield, gain of 20.
This is just a great job. Watch Nickerson here. He's coming inside to plug up the middle. But watch Waters' feet. Watch the way he skips to the outside, to the inside, and stays on his feet. He puts that hand down, and now he's to the outside. And once again, he outruns a defensive back, getting Carter that time.
That is the 4th running play of at least 20 yards. And there is William Floyd, who was shaken up on the play. You talk about big plays in the air involving the 49ers through the years. Well, here today, 4 runs of at least 20 yards. Mark Logan, who replaced William Floyd. Logan, the former Cincinnati Bengal and Miami Dolphin.
For Brad Culpepper, number 73, defensive tackle for the Bucs, he made a great play. He pushed up the field so far and so fast, it bounced Logan to the outside, and the rest of the defense was able to come up and make a play. But, you know, there's a lot to be said about upfield penetration. And here's a guy, another free agent out of Minnesota, picked up last year. Really been a good addition to this defensive line. He's able to give them that inside upfield fast penetration that helps you out so much.
2nd down and 10. Young is complete. Rice once again down to the 30. Barney Bussey finally brought down Jerry Rice, his 3rd reception of this afternoon's game. Rice had a big day against the Bucs last year, Ron, with 4 touchdowns.
Well, look how much credit Bussey's going to give him. I don't blame him. I'd give it to him too, but he takes that little step outside. Look what it does to 27 Bussey. He can't recover on the inside move. And if you don't have any help inside, stay inside and make them throw outside. You can't let Jerry Rice just have a 2-way go on you all the time. He's bad enough as it is.
From the 30, this is Derek LaVille, his first carry of the ball game, and he was hit hard, helmet to helmet by Santana Dotson.
Well, you hear the intensity of those hits down there. I mean, those are the kind of hits where you need an airbag in your helmet. LaVille, he's a strong guy. I mean, he can bring it for a running back, but boy, I don't know. I hope they got plenty of that gold paint back in the equipment room.
That is Mark Wheeler, 3rd-year pro out of Texas A&M, who replaced Chidi Ahanatu, who suffered a groin injury in the first half. And he has not yet returned. On 2nd down, the tight end, Brent Jones, inside the 15.
Young being helped up slowly that time. Jones right here. I want you to watch what he does. He's going to fake an outside move, working on the linebackers. But he fakes outside, and then he comes right back inside. As soon as he makes the cut, the ball's in the air. And that's just timing. They're picking on the fact that the Bucs run so much of that soft zone defense. And here are the hits. And he let him off easy that time. He really could have put him down. He let him off easy.
That was Wheeler, who we just spoke about moments ago. Ricky Waters down to the 9. Waters approaching the 100-yard mark.
A lot to be said, Kenny, about the first possession after the third quarter. People always want to know, well, why is it a big possession? The reason it is, especially if you're ahead, it's a momentum builder. It's like a reminder, a slap back in the face to the team you're beating. And listen, remember how it was when we went in at halftime? Remember how it was in the first quarter? Well, nothing's changed. And right here you can see the 49ers are telling the Bucs nothing has changed.
Here's Waters once again, down to the 3. 96 yards for Ricky Waters.
They talk a lot about how Waters' attitude has changed in the last few years he's been here in San Francisco. When he first got aboard, he's a really intense, excitable guy, and that's great because that kind of energy is what you want out there. You never want to take that away from a guy, but it got to the point where if he made a mistake, he really got down on himself and he got really temperamental and frustrated. But now he's been able to smooth it all out and focus more in areas where he needs to focus and be more of a well-rounded running back.
William Floyd.
Well, need do I say that the Bucs need a turnover right now? I talked to George the other day, too, about does he feel pressure because he has so many weapons on offense? Does he have to use them all the time? And he said, yeah, you know, Ron, I do. When you got Jerry and you got Taylor and you got Brent Jones, you feel pressure, but he has to fight himself and steer the offense to where he thinks best to win the game and not just to spread the football out.
William Floyd stopped the first hit made by Marty Carter. Marty Carter, who came in second on the team in tackles behind Hardy Nickerson.
Yeah, in this situation, Kenny, low man is going to win the battle. Let's count how many white shirts get underneath the red guys. And as you can see, Tampa Bay gets underneath. Therefore, they can get their linebackers over the top and stop Floyd from getting into the end zone. See, this is what all the weight room work and all the training is for in the offseason, right here. These few inches between no touchdown and a touchdown.
Second down and 1. Here's Young. Intended for the tight end, Ted Popson.
I don't know why he wanted to throw to Popson, but he just should have threw the ball to Floyd. He held it for just a second, reloaded, and Popson limping off like he's not feeling too well. Right here, watch this, a great play action. You've been running it. Go ahead, give the play action. But the perimeter people for the Bucs, Carter right there, they don't get fooled. But he's got Floyd wide open. Throw him the football. I don't know why he waited.
Now third down and 1. William Floyd, touchdown!
Yeah, that's the mix you want. They come around on the play action, and then they go right back to the hard reminder of the running game. We talked about low people winning. Well, everybody does a good job of getting low, but there's just a seam over, and he jumps from the 3-yard line. And if you don't have a linebacker there, somebody to stop. I don't know why Marty Carter doesn't think that's a touchdown. Marty, what part of that didn't you understand? The man's whole body is in the end zone.
For William Floyd.
He'll penalize on the kickoff. Touchdown.
Floyd's third touchdown of the season. After the play, Hardy Nickerson involved with Bart Oates, and Nickerson was flagged. Penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Here's Doug Bryant. It is now 24-0. The 49ers lead the Buccaneers. 12-play drive by the 49ers, culminating in this.
Reinhold Bertlev had a key role.
Golden Gate Bridge here in San Francisco, where the Niners are leading the Buccaneers 24-0. Ron, you look at the 49ers last two games, 42-3 over the Falcons, now 24-0. So they have outscored their
We've got an
opponents.
unsportsmanlike conduct on the bench of Tampa Bay. Coach, 15-yard penalty. Will kick.
A 15-yard penalty on Sam Weish. As I was saying, over the last two games, now 66-3 in favor of the Niners. It's not often you see a penalty whistled on the coach.
You know, Sam, he stands next to Willie Pete right there, the father of Dallas quarterback Rodney Pete. You know, Sam is not a real excitable guy. I mean, he's really an easygoing kind of guy. He's a fun guy to be around and talk to. But, you know, in the situation right now, I think frustration is starting to set in. You know, he knows he's got Dilfer out there. He knows he's got a guy who's going to take some time. And then when you get other things happening, you know, after the whistle, penalties and stuff like that, it kind of wears on your nerves. And he does so much talking on the sideline.
And remember the Nickerson penalty on the touchdown. Bryant is kicking off.
Well, this is unbelievable. I have
40.
never seen a kickoff this far up. They're going to onside it, of course. And now Tampa Bay has the ball on the 4-yard line. Boy, in all my years of playing this game, Kenny, and watching this game, I've never seen a kickoff from that yard line.
Well, we had a 15-yard penalty on Nickerson, then a 15-yard penalty on Weish. So Brian kicked off from the Buccaneers 40.
Well, at least they had good coverage.
They certainly did. With the ball deep in their own territory on the 4-yard line. Vince Workman taken down at the goal line. The 49ers want the safety. And the officials say that Workman was stopped inside the 1.
Yeah, that's Bryant Young right there, the rookie out of Notre Dame, coming through on the right side. He'll be at the top of your screen. He knifes inside, and Workman, I mean, that's a great job of just getting back across the line. You know, if his knee hits before that ball is extended, that would be a safety. But his knee didn't go down. He got the ball out before he was actually on the ground.
Dilfer from the end zone, intended for Wilson. Now let's go to James Brown for an NFL update in Hollywood. JB?
All right, Kenny, it's a mad group of Raiders playing right now at home. Hostetler hooking up with Tim Brown for the second time this afternoon, both for touchdowns. Raiders, after spotting Atlanta 10 points lead at 21-10. Back to Kenny.
Talk about coaches fired up on the sideline. The Raiders got some things going up there, too.
3rd down and 13.
Now, this is the worst position, if you're Sam Weiss, that you want Trent Dilfer to be in right now. But let's turn it around. Let's flip it around. Think about how much Dilfer is learning in this game. He's been in all situations. Now he's back up on the goal line. You know, he has to learn to deal with those situations.
Dan Straczynski from deep in his own end zone. Caught it from the 44. And he is taken down by Buckley. And some more extracurricular activity.
Yeah, you talk to most of the teams around the league, and everybody will tell you that there's a kind of arrogance that the 49ers have, and I wouldn't say it's arrogance. I think it's just that they've won for so long and they're used to winning, and they have a strut to them. They're proud of winning, and they know that they're the best in the game.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 53 on a kicking team, 15-yard penalty, first down.
The best in the game with the exception of the Dallas Cowboys, of course.
Series this year? Relax. Fox has a full hour of Major League comedy tonight. Meet the two most outrageous mascots in sports history on The Simpsons and Hardball, starting at 8 tonight here on Fox. On 3rd and goal, Young is pressured and his pass is incomplete. Looking for the tight end, Brent Jones, once again.
You know that play is called, well, I'll give you the edited version of what that play is called. It's called the oh no screen. Let's just say that. But they start play action going to the left, and then at the last minute they run the screen to the right, and it usually works pretty well. But what happened that time is Young got pressure up the middle right away, and he had to reload, and by the time he came back, it really had dissolved.
What about the unedited version? Come on, this is Fox.
I'll wait till we're off there, and I'll tell you that one myself.
Everybody else might be curious. 35-yard field goal attempt, Doug Bryant. And Bryant is now 2 for 2 today. Hit from 23 earlier, now a 35-yard field goal for the rookie from the University of California. It is now San Francisco 27 and Tampa Bay nothing. A pair of field goals by Doug Bryant. Touchdown runs by Ricky Waters and William Floyd, and Steve Young connected with Ed McCaffrey from 7 yards out.
We saw Young there talking to former quarterback Gary Kubiak. That's a special kind of relationship there, to have a guy coaching who played, especially in that position. He can communicate pretty well with your quarterback.
16-yard return by Curtis Buckley. This game's summary is brought to you by Budweiser. The 49ers over the 300-yard mark in total offense for the first time in 5 games. Steve Young, 19 of 25. He was 15 of 16 last week against Atlanta. And Ricky Waters approaching the 100-yard mark for the first time this year, and he opened the scoring. Trent Dilfer still in at quarterback, his first NFL start. The first-round draft pick out of Fresno State. Dilfer looking to throw on first down, and it is picked off by Eric Davis.
And here we go. Yep. And they're still going at it here.
And Andre Rison is not even here today.
Ty.J. Armstrong, he jumps in on it. Plummer, and they're still fighting down here. Now, Dilfer really had a good thing going on that play. He had Hawkins running down the middle. It looked like they miscommunicated the play action, and so he ad-libbed a little bit, but he didn't get all of it on the football, and I know he's upset about that. But Hawkins is running down the middle of the field wide open. All he's got to do is get him the football.
We've got a double foul, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on number 50. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on number 86. Both players are disqualified.
Yeah, that's Plummer and Ty.J. Armstrong. They're out of there.
So why were Sanders and Rison not ejected last week? You were at the game on the sideline.
That's the question.
Why
That's what I want to know.
Let's see.
There's no double standards here in the league, are there? I don't think so.
Let's see. Ty.J. Armstrong versus Andre Rison. Gary Plummer versus Deion Sanders.
We're going to take a look at the play here. For a split second, it looks as though Trent was supposed to play action the other way, but he's going to have a man wide open down the field. There's Hawkins. He's running in the middle. He doesn't get enough on it. There's Eric Davis with the interception. Here's Dennis Brown putting a hit on Dilfer after the throw. Don't forget, now Dilfer's a pretty big guy, 6'4", 230. He's one of the bigger, if not the biggest quarterback in the NFL right now. Those kind of shots aren't going to do much to him.
And the interception by Davis, his first of the year. Well, that's more money in the pocket of Eric Davis. Ron, we learned this week that on every interception by a 49ers defensive back, all the other defensive backs chip in $100 apiece to Eric Davis in this instance. In fact, every time the interception is returned into the end zone, then it is doubled to $200.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, so that's from each guy.
From each guy, from all the other defensive backs.
I think I'll call the IRS and alert them to that.
Ricky Waters fumbles, but it looks as if the ball bounced out of bounds after the 5-yard pickup by Waters as he goes over the 100-yard mark for the first time this season and the 9th time in his National Football League career.
And the Plummer, he's going up and getting a standing ovation. And it's funny, Gary Plummer is not a real rock'em sock'em kind of guy. You know, he's more of a laid-back, mental football player, they call him. You know, he likes to look at things, analyze things. He's not really a fighter. But this is 1994, and anything can happen, especially on Fox.
On second down, Young finds Jones. The tight end, Brent Jones, his 5th reception of the ball game. The Niners on the move once again.
Hey, here's another guy that was sent home in the week because he had the flu, wasn't feeling well. Jones right there. Somehow Jones always manages to sneak out. And the reason here, look who he's running behind. Hey, who are you going to honor? I'm going to honor Jerry Rice if he's following. Nickerson just trails and makes a play. But somehow Brent Jones always shows up, a local guy here. He always shows up and hurts you. He's down right now. We saw him go to his knees right after the catch. I don't know if that's some of the residue of the flu or whether it's another injury.
26 yards on the reception. Brent Jones, who last year led all NFL tight ends with 68 receptions and was voted to the Pro Bowl for the first time last year.
And he's a practical joker on the team, too. When Kenny Norton first came into camp this year, they went and they took Kenny's cowboy hat, they replaced it, they bought a drugstore hat, and they crumbled it up and threw it into the pond. They had a fishing derby up in Rockland. So Kenny's fishing, and they attached his hat to the hook, brought it up, and they said Kenny almost started crying. It was unbelievable. But he's like that. He does all the shaving cream in the helmet and all that kind of stuff.
And when Ken was telling us the story and he said he was wearing a cowboy hat, I thought he meant a Dallas cowboy hat.
Yeah, that's why he looked at you like, where is this guy
Ken,
from?
of course, spent the first 6 years of his career in the Big D. But since you were a teammate of his at UCLA, you have seen the cowboy hat before. First and goal, Ricky Waters.
This is just a matter of getting man-to-man blocking. You can see there's a red jersey on every white shirt, one way or another. And then Waters is just such a good upfield runner. Everything he does works north and south.
Second down on the 1-yard line. Waters again. Touchdown Niners.
Yeah. You know, a great running back cannot be a great running back if he doesn't have great blocking. That time they run to the side of Derek Deese, who they feel is their best run blocker, number 63. 63, he's going to pull out right there. That's Derek Deese. Watch the block. He gets on Chidi Ahanatu. There's really nothing else to say about it, Kenny.
Ricky Waters, 2 touchdowns today. Doug Bryant makes the score 34-0 San Francisco. 2:08 remaining. Third quarter. It has been all 49ers. Ricky Waters over the 100-yard mark. 2 touchdowns on the ground. Next week, kick off your Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific with the most informative and entertaining pregame show around. Join Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Jimmy Johnson, and James Brown for the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show. Well, Ron, week 5, 49ers lost to the Eagles 40-8. And the following week on a radio talk show, a poll was taken, and 85% of the callers wanted Jimmy Johnson to replace George Seifert as head coach of the 49ers. But since then, 27-21 over the Lions on the road. Last week, 42-3. Here today, 34-0. I don't think George has anything to worry about except for his wife's return trip from Nairobi. She climbed Mount Kilimanjaro last week.
In fact, she didn't even know that they beat Atlanta until just this past week, about Tuesday or Wednesday, when she called.
Charles Wilson up to the 30. 25-yard return. 2 minutes to go in this third quarter.
Yeah, see, George is telling Deion, we've got this game in hand. You are going to sit down and take a rest. And look at Deion is upset about it. They're going to have a Raiders confrontation here. Look at him. And Deion made it very clear. I am here to contribute and help this team win. We can go to the Super Bowl, and everybody believes him. That's what he wants to do. He wants to play.
Anthony McDowell run out of bounds at the 36-yard line by number 36, Merton Hanks. McDowell, third year out of Texas Tech. Deion Sanders had a pretty busy week on the off day Tuesday. Deion flew to Los Angeles, shot a rap video with Hammer, but the script was changed due to Deion's pulled left groin. Instead of dancing, Deion, quote, according to the newspaper, gyrated in a chair.
Some fast gyrating, boy.
Vince Workman. Workman across the 40-yard line. As the clock continues to roll, 90 seconds left in this third quarter. Well, the Buccaneers have not held the ball for more than 2.5 minutes on any of their drives so far today.
Well, and there's the coach's booth there, Mike Shanahan. We can see him stuck behind that pole right there. He came over from Denver, was with the Raiders for a while, and he's really brought a special touch to this 49er offense. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on.
No problems whatsoever on offense here today for the Niners. The Bucs, another story. This is Dave Moore, the tight end, his second reception of the season. Tackle is made by Ken Norton. There is Anthony McDowell.
You know, getting back to Shanahan as we look at Ken Norton right here, he said it was really hard coming in because they had the injuries up front in the offensive line, and he said, I'm thankful, Ron, because this could have been disastrous for us with all the changes we made, and he's just happy they're able to protect Young and run the football as well as they run it.
Vince Workman found a hole. Flags on the play. He was stopped by Dana Stubblefield.
Vince Workman, nicknamed Pookie.
Offside, number 58 defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
It's Todd Kelly right here. You know, some guys look at the ball, some guys look at this man, other guys listen to the quarterback, and that's the one that doesn't work. Kelly's a guy that's come in here, you know, first year's really picked up the system a lot better here in the last few weeks than he had in training camp, and they're happy with his play.
This is Mazio Royster, his first carry of the ball game. As time runs out in this third quarter. It's the 49ers 34, the Buccaneers nothing. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages from your local Fox station. And why will Trent Dilfer be in there next week against the Vikings?
You know, Kenny, to answer that question, I say they got to stick with Dilfer. You're not going to put Trent Dilfer, his rookie season, in a game against the 49ers just so you can see how he plays and then take him out the next week. I say put him in there, leave him in there, let him get some experience, you know, and then assess his performance 5 games from now.
Trent Dilfer did come on in relief in 2 earlier games. There is Craig Erickson, who has the best touchdown to interception ratio in the NFL. 6 touchdown passes and just 1 interception. Dilfer made his NFL debut in Green Bay last week against Atlanta, 6 of 11. 2 weeks ago against Atlanta, 6 of 11 and 3 interceptions. The Buccaneers did pick up the first down across midfield. Opening minute of this 4th quarter. 49ers 34 and the Buccaneers nothing, as Tampa Bay once again using the walk-by huddle. Sam Weiss, very innovative. The walk-by huddle, the sugar huddle, which we spoke of earlier. Also uses the no-huddle offense at times. Play action, Dilfer. The pass is complete. Flag in the offensive backfield. As Dilfer found there Courtney Hawkins. Right now, let's go to JB in our Hollywood studio. JB.
All right, Kenny, and we'll take you down to Phoenix, where the Cardinals are battling tough from the 9. Steve Berline rolling right, has Ricky Prohl in sight. Prohl has it. Take a look at this as he fights second effort. Puts the ball right on the pylon. It's signaled as a touchdown, and the Cardinals are out in front 21-14, that in the 4th. Take you back to San Francisco. Kenny and Ron.
How about those Arizona Cardinals leading the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh, buddy, he's talking them into a good one.
Penalty on the Buccaneers, holding call on the center Mayberry. 9th Tampa Bay penalty today. Dilfer was being pressured. He tried to find Eric Rett. Trent Dilfer just 7 of 21.
Now, see, that's the case right there. I guarantee 2 weeks from now, Dilfer will realize, okay, yeah, the blitz is coming. Watch, it's coming up the gut, the A-gap pressure. That's the worst kind of ball because he sees color right now. He's going to say, okay, I know I got a guy in the flat. Guys like Montana, guys like Marino and Elway, they say, I know where my people are at all times, and they just get the ball out there and they get things done. He'll do that very soon.
2nd down and 20. Dilfer took a hit. Todd Kelly.
Todd Kelly right there. There's a guy that may be responsible for Atlanta's loss last week only because he had a penalty regarding Mike Ken last week that led to Deion's touchdown. But here, Trent's in trouble. He's trying to ad-lib a little bit. And you know what? That's great coverage in the secondary. He had some time. He stepped up. There's nothing there. He'll learn later on to throw that ball away, too.
On 3rd down and 20, the pass is short. Dilfer looking to the far side, and he also took a hit from Tim McDonald.
Yeah, but you know, Sam, he'll take that throw right there and come off the field and punt the football before he does anything else. And in all fairness to the Bucs offensive line and everybody else, I mean, come on, you know, we're looking at a 34-0 game, 3rd down situation. Hey, what do the 49ers have to lose? They're going to bring everybody, especially against a rookie quarterback.
Dexter Carter back to receive Dan Straczynski's 7th punt. High snap, and Straczynski passes for the 1st down. Marty Carter on the pass play from Dan Straczynski. We talked earlier about Sam Weiss using trick plays very frequently. We saw it on the first play of the ball game when Erickson and Dilfer both came out. Erickson, the quarterback, lined up as a wide receiver. And Ron, that is the longest reception today by a Buccaneer. And at the defensive back, Marty
That's
Carter.
what I'm saying. The thing about it, a receiver didn't catch it. This guy here, he's a defensive back. But that even adds to the trick element of the whole thing. That's why Sam went ahead and did that. I mean, nobody's going to figure that Straczynski's going to throw a ball to Marty Carty. And look at there, Erickson's in the game.
And he calls timeout. Craig Erickson in at quarterback for the Buccaneers. He calls for time with 2 minutes gone by in this fourth quarter. 34-0 San Francisco. Erickson in at quarterback. Erickson on first down. Anthony McDowell bottled up by Dana Hall. Let's go to James Brown now in Hollywood. JB?
All right, Kenny, you might ask Ron Pitts, how do you defend Michael Irvin? Big physical receiver. Look at the adjustment here as he beats James Williams. The rest is all Irvin to pay dirt. And the Cowboys that quickly have knotted it up at 21 apiece. That in the fourth. Back to San Francisco, Ken and Ron.
Tell you what, JB, the way you do it is you give him some respect. You play off and sleep well that night.